I needed to come down to the cellar today to clean up because Ben and his dad piped in the water lines back here, and they had to use a hole saw to like drill up through the pantry floor right here. So all my stuff got covered in dust and like the pipe that they had to cut down here. So I need to clean all that up and reorganize everything because a lot of this I did take up to the pantry. So I took 3 of every kind of food I had up to the pantry. So everything just needs to be brought forward and just kind of gone through, make sure nothing's unsealed or anything, because it has been down here since November and it's January now, so about 2 months or so. So I just need to go through everything and make sure everything's still fine. So I just now finished sweeping off the shelves and getting everything back reorganized. It's not a massive cellar, but it definitely is plenty of space for everything that I need, because pretty much everything that I would ever want in a cellar does fit down here, and I have plenty of room left. But I actually got the idea to build the shelves out of cinder blocks and rough cut lumber from on Pinterest. Pinterest has some really good pictures from like the 40s and 50s of pictures of people's cellars. They're black and white pictures, but they're plenty clear to see what they were doing. And I love looking at those pictures. Like, they're some of my favorites just to see the women down there. And usually they're posing in front of it, and you can tell that they're proud of their food and their storage. So you can get on Pinterest and find those pictures. But that's what inspired me to do these. And plus, we already had the material, and we were not looking to spend any money on the shelving down here, and we got away with doing it for free because we already had all this and we didn't have to pay for it. So it worked out really well, and it is serving a great purpose. As you'll see throughout the rest of the cellar, like as I show you today, you'll see that everything is up off of the ground at least that much. I think it's a good 12 inches or so. The cinder blocks may be a little bit less, just because whenever it does rain, like if we have rain, pouring rain for a couple days, you will get standing water down here, but we'll turn on the sump pump over there and we'll pump it out. So that's what we do whenever it rains really hard. And we really need to get gutters on the outside of our house, and we're working on that right now. We're trying to save money to do that because that's causing one of our biggest issues right now. This is all of our canned food storage, except for every single thing that you see on the shelf. There are 3 of each item upstairs in the pantry. That's how much I keep upstairs. And then the rest, whenever I run out, I'll just come down here and kind of like grocery shop, I guess you could say, and get it off the shelf and then take it up to the pantry. So it cycles out. And then the half gallons, I just have 1 of each upstairs, just because we don't go through the stuff in the half gallons very fast. So it's like oats, cocoa powder, powdered sugar, noodles, and rice. That stuff we don't really go through that fast. But the stuff down here in quarts and pints, like peaches, all of our sauces, broths, that all goes through pretty quick. So that's why there's 3 of everything up there. And I actually ended up not pulling everything to the front. That way I can see what I'm running out of and start taking note of what I need to can more of this year. Because like beans, we only have 3 quarts of beans left down here. And the chicken, the canned chicken, we only have 1 of those left. So I'm trying to keep note, and that's why it's all pushed back to the back. So there are more back in there, but I kind of like seeing the holes. That way I know where I need to fill. I actually started editing the cellar video, so this is a couple days later. And I realized that I did not tell you guys what was on the shelves. So I wanted to bring you guys back down and show you guys everything that we have on the shelves. So on top, in most of the half gallons, that is just vacuum can stuff, so it's like dry goods, and then I'll just put a piece of paper towel over top, or like a cupcake liner or something, just to keep like the dust from coming up to the lid and preventing a seal. But all of this stuff is dry goods. So this is salt. This is just canning and pickling salt, which I don't even really use anymore. I mostly just put the Redmond real salt in my canning stuff, but I bought that and I just have a quart of that in a half gallon, so I'll use it up this year, try to. This is flour, oats, and then cocoa powder. Powdered sugar was here, and I used the last one the other day. Egg noodles, just like bow tie pasta that's different colors, elbow pasta, and then this is brown rice. The rest of up here on top is empty jars. So this is just the gallon size. This is just jars that are all different sizes that I don't have a flat for. And some of these, these are like not really the half pint, like they're not pint, but they're like not half pint either. They're a little bit bigger. So these are all random size jars. And then here's our thermostat. I'm going to try and show you guys because I did get a question. It is 52 degrees down here. This is not like wired in or anything. We just had an extra one, so we stuck it down here. And that way we would know the exact temperature. So it's 2:25 p.m. and it is 52 degrees. So a lot of people were worried about the jars freezing down here. And our cellar does not get cold enough. Like, we do have water pipes and stuff. They are over here and, well, that corner. And they're insulated, but we mostly did that because the cellar was exposed for a really, really long time. And as you can see, the snow is melting outside, so we do have water coming in, but it's not enough to turn on the sump pump. So we have to wait until like the water starts coming over more. But usually water only comes down here. Like right now we have like 8 inches of snow on, but it's not enough to turn on the sump pump. So we have to wait until more melts and then goes over there to that drain, because that is the lowest point in the floor. So it does like slope that way to that drain, and there's a sump pump down inside of it. So what we'll do is just hook it to that pipe and we'll just let it drain out that way. So that's why we keep these down here. That way we can take that off. But for the most part, everything so far has just stayed the ground temp. So whatever the temperature is outside, which I believe it stays between like 50 and 60. Over here I have 3 jars of pinto beans left, and I really need to can beans. We're out of the black beans, kidney beans, and I definitely need to stock back up on the pinto beans. So I have a lot of bean canning that I need to do. And then over here there's 6 pints of ham back in there, and then this is our last thing of chicken. So I do need to can more chicken also. And then down here, this is blackberries. All of these are. And then, of course, like this is the oldest to newest. That way we can like pull left to right. So it works just like you would read a book, kind of that. So you use all of this row first and then all of this one, and so on and so forth. This is grape juice, blueberry jelly. And then down here we have carrots, dill pickles, bread and butter pickles, jalapenos. I have 2 jars of those left, so I definitely need to can more. And then I have regular kraut, and that is hot kraut. On the bottom we have potatoes. There's more potatoes on the bottom. All of that is green beans. That is pickled corn, regular corn, and then some overflow of green beans over here. In this section I have molasses, honey. There's all different types of honey in here. So all of this is just honey. And then strawberry preserves, grape jelly, and then peach preserves, ham broth and chicken broth, vegetable soup base, salsa, tomato sauce. Those are cherry tomatoes that are canned in. Some of them are crushed red pepper, and then some of them are Italian. This is lard, butter, peaches, apple pie filling, tomato juice, crushed tomatoes, diced tomatoes, pizza sauce, marinara sauce, and then all of that is basic pasta sauce that we use just for like spaghetti and stuff like that. So that is everything on the shelves. And earlier Ben and I were down here and we were talking about how we're gonna have to be diligent about canning this year, just because we really did not can much last year because we were in the middle of trying to do the pantry and also the cellar. We can also extend it over this way to the staircase right here if we need to, if we ever need this extra storage. But I don't really think so, just because we cycle through all of our canned food fairly well. And I know everybody's biggest thing is like long-term food storage. I really do not do long-term food storage. Like I don't do the Mylar bag and stuff. I may venture into some of that, but as for now, my goal every year is to get us enough food to last us for a year. So that is what I try to do, is just get enough from our garden and just preserve enough to get us through a year. And so far that is pretty much working, because this is December, so we do have a little ways to go before we get back to harvesting. This staircase was the perfect place to put all these jars because it's kind of tight over here in this corner, and I did not want to put food storage under there, so it worked out perfect for all of our empty jars. So I have so many because during 2020 we ran out and we could not buy them anywhere. So after that I started buying a case every single time that we would go to the store. So I have tons that are still brand new, but then a lot of these are our empty jars. I keep all of our flats, like right here, some extras. And as we empty the food and bring the jars back down, I'll turn them upside down and store them down here. That way I can just grab a flat, take upstairs, and recan in them. So over here are half gallons. These are half gallons also. Starting right here is quarts. I can't remember if those are regular mouth. So this is regular mouth all the way up and down regular mouth. These are wide mouth, and then these are regular mouth pint, wide mouth pint, and then some jelly jars down there. And if you saw my Instagram, every time I get a big lot of jars, I always share on my Instagram and just kind of say, like, never turn down free jars. So Ben's papa was actually going through his building, and they were rough looking jars. They were covered in mud and dirt and dead bugs. So I scrubbed for 2 days straight on jars, but I ended up getting 6 flats of pints, and then I think it was 8 flats of quarts. So never turn down free jars, because once they're cleaned up, they are good as new. Just check them for cracks. And a lot of these jars have been given to me for free. And then over here on these racks, so these shelves I already had. They came from our old house. We used them in our garage. So we did have these in our master bedroom downstairs here in the house. And that's kind of where I had all of this stuff shoved at, because we weren't using it at the time. So right now it just houses all of our tools, and so I shoved all this stuff in there with it. So that room is finally starting to get emptied out. Up there is our Berkey water filter, and as you know, if you saw my videos from this past summer, we did get a reverse osmosis system. So we have that hooked up under our sink, so we don't need the Berkey anymore. But if we lose electricity, then we don't have water that is like clean, so that's why I do keep the Berkey. These are just harvest baskets, a canner. My big canner is going to go there, but it's upstairs, so I need to bring it down just whenever I'm not using it, and it goes there. These are lids and rings, so they had these on sale, so I bought the whole case of them. I bought a whole case. And then these are just the lids, wide mouth lids, regular lids, canner parts, tomato strainer. This is a bowl and a strainer, but those are like 20 quart or 16 quart, something like that. I think they're 20 quart. So those just stay down here, and I only use those for canning, just whenever I'm doing a lot of stuff. And these are my extra canners, extra rings. Up here is egg cartons, more egg cartons. These are just cupcake liners, plates, like the aluminum baking trays, cake boards, cake boxes, and cupcake boxes. This is our mandolin and our vegetable chopper. I just keep those down here because I really only use them during canning. Some cupcake liners, extra parchment paper, Ziploc bags, matches and lighters, candles, batteries, lamp oil. And then this is all of my vacuum canning and vacuum sealing stuff. I try to keep it all in one spot. And then all of my, this is like an extra canner rack. And then these are just a bunch of lids. And then on the bottom, I really don't have anything in there. They're all empty. It's medical stuff. And then that is a first aid kit and peroxide. So not much, but this is what it looks like. The room is a 9.5 by 22.5. So it is really good size, because it's essentially like having an extra kitchen and an extra pantry down here, because it runs directly underneath our kitchen and pantry. So minus like a couple layers of block wall, so it is a smaller than that, but it's just nice to have all this storage under the kitchen and pantry. And when we first moved in, we truly did not think that we would be able to get this back to functioning, but it was always my goal to. I wanted it so bad. So it has taken a lot of work, but it is so worth it. I absolutely love it down here now, and I'm finally comfortable. I was scared of this for the longest time because it was dark, dirty. I came down here with a shop vac, cleaned up all the cobwebs, all the walls, wiped those down, everything, so we're good to go. I could not ask for a better place to store all of my canning stuff. And if you homestead, then you know that storage is always something you struggle with food, your canners, all of your supplies. So I'm so thankful to have this, and it's truly a dream come true. This coming garden season, we're going to try and grow some storage crops. So I would love to put some like shelving over here, probably the same kind of shelves. It's free for us because we already have all the materials. So I would love to put a setup over here for all of our storage crops, because I do want to store like potatoes, carrots, cabbage, onions, garlic, stuff like that. Those are really the only things that I plan on storing, but I want to have a little setup over here, and I'm hoping it'll stay cool enough down here to keep that stuff. But I've never grown storage crops really, and never stored anything long term really, so I'll have to do some more research before I can bring anything down here and actually store it. But that is going to be it for this video, so thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys will like and subscribe.